Hey, welcome back. Joel Elworth here, Bulletproof Coach, founder of Code 3 Wellness. Let's talk about how to hack anger. Today, I've got 5 major ideas on how we can go about doing that. And let's start with the first idea, and that is be grateful. Why? I think you've heard me say this before. So often, there's just no way that we can be grateful and angry at the same time. So anger and fear, they cannot live in your heart or in you when you're grateful. So find a way to be grateful in your life. You can do this pretty easily. Something I'll do is I'll just write it down in a journal in the morning. 3 things that I'm grateful for. Or you can go out and buy on Amazon that book called The 5-Minute Journal. It's a great little book. 3 things, again, you write it down that you're grateful for. You feel those things. Then during the day, you envision what are 3 things that would make this day great. And then at the end of the night, you think about what are 3 things that I could have done better, or what are 3 things that I learned. These are all great ideas, ways to cultivate gratitude, Or you can do what Tony Robbins does, He puts his hand on his heart and he breathes in, he does a breathing practice, and he thinks about things that he's grateful for. Things that are just super simple, such as like maybe for me it would be a cup of coffee in the morning, my health, the health of my child, just real simple things that are close in proximity to me. And then he'll think about the people he loves. And then another thing he'll do is he'll think about people in the past, people that have helped make him better, people that have helped enrich his life. And he thinks about these things and he just dwells in the moment for 90 seconds. And that's it. And he's done. So be grateful. You cannot be angry and grateful at the same time. All right? Number 2, I call it the J. Abraham. Why? J. Abraham is this big entrepreneur, mogul, businessman. If you want to go see J. Abraham, it's going to cost you $25,000 an hour. So he's kind of a big deal. But one of the things I like that he said is that he likes to travel to Asia. And when he does, something that he understands and knows about the Asian culture is that they don't make a lot of eye contact and they don't really smile a lot. So what Jay started doing is something that he finds fascinating and actually enjoys is he just stays out at the airport when he arrives and he stays there for hours just trying to connect with people, making eye contact and smiling at them. And I'm sure he does this in this creepy way, but you don't have to be creepy. You can do the same thing. You're angry? Try smiling. I mean, imagine doing this and being angry. It's just impossible. I don't know how you could do it. So, go outside, walk down your block and connect with people, make eye contact. And something that I notice a lot is that when I do this, there's no connection with many of us. I mean, for a world that thinks we're super connected because we have cell phones and internet and email, we're not connected. We're all disconnected. We're all up in our heads. We're all up in our own world, worried about our own agendas, that nobody's really connecting. So try connecting with others, smile, and this kind of levity in yourself and your being will create this ripple effect that'll kind of hack you out of your anger, okay? Number 3 big idea, I call the timer principle. I don't know if you can read that handwriting. It's kind of bad. The timer principle, meaning set a timer. Hal Elrod, I know what he does is he sets a timer for 5 minutes and he's going to be angry for 5 minutes. But after the timer goes off, he tells himself with intention and integrity, all right, that's it. I was angry and now I'm not angry anymore. I am not going to let this anger continue to dwell in my present moment and affect how I am being now. So set a timer. Again, like I said, Tony Robbins does it for 90 seconds. Maybe yours is going to be like 4 hours. I know for me, it varies. There's sometimes I can hack myself out of the anger right away, and sometimes I need more time. But setting a timer and setting some intentionality around how I'm going to be after a certain amount of time can be very helpful. One of the things I'll do is I'll set a timer, like say for 5 minutes, but then I'll go downstairs and I'll work out. I'll do a set of burpees. I'll do something with high intensity because I know that the exercise and the HIIT, high intensity training, is gonna give me a rush of endorphins and a feeling, it's gonna help change my state and make me feel better about myself and help kind of zap away all that energy and anger that is inside of me. You can do the same thing with taking like a 5-minute cold shower. That'd be another way to kind of hack your way out of the anger and at the same time applying the timer principle. All right, number 4, I call it change your focus. I wrote a little triangle there. I think back in algebra or geometry, I can't remember when, but that triangle meant change. I don't know, it just makes it easy for me. Anyways, change your focus, right? If I were to tell you to close your eyes and to just envision everything that is brown outside of your house right now, just imagine all the things that are brown. Just take a second, and I bet you guys could come up with a lot of things. You'd probably be thinking about the trees. Right now I'm looking at my house. I got a brown wooden pole. The roofs are brown. There's dirt that's brown. All these things are brown. Now, if I told you, now that you've been thinking about it, what were all the things that were green? I bet you couldn't tell me because you were so focused on the things that were brown that you missed everything else. And it's kind of a metaphor for life, right? When we focus and narrow in on things, we miss everything on the outside. And this kind of comes back to that mindfulness concept of, this cultivating this awareness, this mindfulness, this attentiveness, because we're constantly thinking me, I, mine, and all these things just make us very small and not as powerful as who we really are or really could be. So again, change your focus, change your life. Last one, and this is a big one, 5, is forgiveness. This is huge. I've been reading a lot about this. I'll leave some in the show notes of some books and resources that you can use to learn more about this. But something I've even heard in Dave Asprey's 40 Years of Zen, which costs $15,000 to do. And one of my friends actually went through the program. And if they had to sum up just one big idea that they had, one big takeaway was forgiveness. And that our mind, our brain, is holding on to this. And you can actually see it in EEGs. So save yourself 15 grand and change your brain by just doing it naturally. Practice forgiveness. The problem with this is forgiveness is actually really difficult to practice. It's like a muscle. It needs to be worked out over and over again so that we can build on this idea of forgiveness. One of the ways you can do that is, think of times if there's something in the past that's bothering you, think about that thing, and it's okay, dwell in it. Feel the anger, feel the pain. But do it for maybe like 2 minutes. Don't do it more than that. We don't want you to become depressed. We don't want you to dwell in it to a point where it's just making you feel sad and terrible. But experience that pain. And then from there, start forgiving through love. Meaning, start thinking of better questions to ask yourself would be a better way to phrase it. Meaning, what did I learn from that time? I mean, that was a pretty crappy time in my life, but what did I learn from that, and how did I grow? What could make me better from that, and why was that actually a good experience? Another question you can ask is, you want to ask about, I'll give you an example. Let's think about our significant others. I'm sure a lot of times we feel like our significant others or relationships is someone who's wronged us or hurt us in the past. And a phrase that I say a lot to myself is hurt people. Meaning that if you're hurt, you're going to go on and hurt others. Or if you're still hurt, then how can you really be fully alive and energized and be your full potential, your full, whole human being? You really can't. So if you're thinking about somebody in the past that might have hurt you, one of the things you can do is think about them and think about it from their perspective. And why did they do that to you? Man, you start to almost think, you almost start to feel sorry for them. And you develop this compassion, this forgiveness for them, because whatever they did to you, it probably wasn't them. Probably somebody hurt them, and now they're just replaying that. They're replaying it in this default mode network that they don't even know they're doing it. And now you're experiencing the pain. So don't take those things personal, but start asking more powerful questions, and you'll probably get better answers. Okay, that's it. 5 ideas of how to hack happiness. Again, be grateful. The J. Abraham, the timer principle, change your focus, and forgiveness. That's all I got for this week. I'll see you next week.